You're about to learn the build secrets that only the best players know about. It took me 3,000 hours to learn this, and I'm going to teach it to you in under 10 minutes. I've played near the highest arena ranks using each individual class, so I know which builds are strong and which ones are garbage. By the end of this video, you will have all of the knowledge you need to dominate as fighter. All of this information is applicable to building your class in all gear brackets, whether it's in the dungeon or in arena. You just buy more budget options if you want to spend less money or lower your gear score. Let's get straight into it. Fighter has a lot of different things you can run, so we'll go over the ones that I think are the strongest, as well as the best combinations. This is kind of a PDR setup with a shield. You're going to run Swift almost always because it's so much movement speed that you're gaining from this perk alone, and movement speed is so good. And then you pretty much have to decide whether or not you're going to use a bow or a crossbow for your secondary. If you're going to use a bow, you got to use weapon mastery, and if you're going to rock the crossbow, then you don't need it. I also was running Demon's Glee, so you'll need weapon mastery for Demon's Glee, but there's a lot of different weapons you can use. We'll go over that later. Because we're running a sword mastery is very powerful. It also gives the extra 2 weapon damage and action speed to your lantern shield when you parry with it. So that added damage is actually really strong. And then we're running defense mastery just because our PDR is really high. You can see we're at 68, and that's not including having our shield out. So we're at cap with shield out. If you don't have really high PDR, this perk is not worth it. This perk is only worth it if you're able to get above 65%, because that's what the cap normally is. This brings your cap up to 75. So if you're above 65, definitely take this perk. If not, it's not worth running. For the different perks, Adrenaline Spike is not that great. I never ran it. Barricade is really good if you aren't already near cap. Like, I'm already hitting 65, but if I was running lighter armor and I was, say around 60, then having Barricade is really good. The 50 armor and then the extra MR is nice. It also pairs really well with Lantern Shield, because while you're in your defensive stance trying to block, you're getting the benefit from Barricade, as well as when you're actually proccing the parry and the knife is like coming out of the Lantern Shield, you're also getting Barricade for that entire duration of that animation coming out. So it's actually very high value, especially with Lantern Shield. Combo attacks, okay. Counter attack is really good if you have a heater shield, and I think that's the most consistent way to play fighter. It genuinely is having heater shield. You block an attack and then you follow up with a really fast attack, especially if you pair that with shield mastery, because you're getting 50% action speed on your next attack with shield mastery. So these two together are really powerful because you're gaining movement speed and then 60% action speed. Projectile resistance is actually kind of underrated. We have a lot of projectile reduction, 12.5%. Adding an extra 10 puts us up to 22. So basically, rangers and any range damage that's a projectile, like magic damage, does significantly less damage, but it is hard because you have to pass up on a lot of other good perks. But if you're just genuinely trying to frontline for your team and you've got like a Cleric on your team to heal you or a Druid, it's actually not bad. I think people sleep on this. Dual wield is really amazing if you're doing the Demon's Glee plus Mana Sphere build, and I'll show you that build in a bit, but that's the only time you're really going to run this unless you're going Slayer. But Slayer's not that good in arena, honestly, and having tons of PDR is just better in high gear. Talking about skills, Sprint and Second Wind, you can never really go wrong with these, although there are a lot of other options. You can run Taunt if your PDR is quite a lot lower, and then you're gaining magic resist and PDR from the Taunt. It's especially good if you're pairing it with a healer. Otherwise, Second Wind is usually going to be your best bet. Adrenaline Rush is not bad if you're running Demon's Glee Mana Sphere, and Breakthrough is really good. Tons of people are sleeping on Breakthrough. You ignore all hit slows, whether a bow hits you and slows you or a weapon hits you and slows you. It's especially good for pushing into wizards and sorcerers who are trying to peel you with Wind Blast or Ice Bolt. You just completely ignore it, run right through it and chop them up. Really, really incredible. And you can also just take Breakthrough instead of Sprint, because if you're running Sprint, and let's say you're getting close to move speed cap, as soon as you get hit by a longbow arrow or any spell or any weapon, it's dropping your move speed significantly. But if you have Breakthrough, yeah, you're only getting 7, but you don't get any of the reduction if you get hit by anything, and it's very common to get hit by things and getting hit slowed. So Breakthrough is really good, especially in arena. This just completely hard counters Sorcerer, by the way. Sorcerer can't do anything if you have Breakthrough. You just run at them in a straight line. All of their self peel is contingent on knocking you back, and they can't knock you back with this, so they're just cooked. The others are kind of just whatever. They're kind of memey. Perfect Block is not really that useful. Shield Slam, they've actually buffed it quite a bit, but it is still kind of memey and a little bit troll, but it can be fun to use sometimes. Spell Reflection is also not bad, but it's hard to get value out of it. I think if you're trying to counter spellcasters, you're better off just going Breakthrough and sprinting straight at them. And Victory Strike's just also kind of whatever. We'll go into some of the build variations because I ran a lot of different things on my climb to Vanquisher. When you're running Lantern Shield, you can pretty much swap in a lot of different things. You can go Demon's Glee if you have Weapon Mastery and you're using a bow, or you can run Arming Sword, or you can run Warhammer. And if you're using Warhammer, you want to drop Sword Mastery because you won't get any value out of it. And this is going to give you 20% armor pen. It'll give you armor pen on your Lantern Shield riposte as well, which is crazy. This is a really good combo. The only problem is the Warhammer swing is pretty clunky and it's very easy to block or parry with a longsword, so just be mindful of that. But the armor pen's incredible. And then the super common build that everybody runs in Arena because it's insanely powerful, does a ton of damage, is Demon's Glee Manosphere. The Manosphere damage scales with your Demon's Glee because you have 1 magic weapon damage, so that scales up to an extra 5 and then an extra 2 true magic damage. So you're gaining 7 magic damage onto your Demon's Glee, so it's +8 with the Demon's Glee. Then you get another +2 here, and then over in your perks you're going to want to run dual wield, and you're getting an extra 10% action speed, because action speed is going to be the best thing to scale with your Demon's Glee Manosphere. You don't really care about physical power or magical power because so much of your damage is just on hit base damage and true magic damage, as well as you want to run true damage on all of your rings and your necklace and your cape and your glove slot, as well as true magic on your head slot. So you get a ton of damage in this Demon's Glee. You're gonna 3-shot squishy classes, swinging super fast, and pretty much nobody can contest your damage with this build. You also have really high resistances, and if you're running breakthrough, then nobody can stop you. You just run at them in a straight line, 3-shot them. It's really, really broken. Not gonna lie, I kind of hope the devs remove it, but until then, the build is insane. Definitely try it out. I brought swaps with me, so I have movement speed swap with these Lightfoot boots to add move speed rolls, and I also have some Brave Hunter pants. So this is really pumping up my movement speed and also my action speed. But you can see I'm going to sacrifice some PDR and a little bit of magic resist. So it just depends on what the matchup is, whether you need to be tanky or whether they need to be fast. So I always bring these with me as a swap. I also have a survival bow to bring instead of a longbow. If I'm fighting people really close range that are kiting me, you can switch to this instead of the longbow, but generally speaking, the longbow is going to be better. And then obviously, if you're not running Weapon Mastery, you're not running Demon's Glee or Manosphere, then you'd want to bring a crossbow. For your rolls, you're mainly going to be looking for physical damage reduction, flat armor, action speed, true damage, and maximum health. I'll just hover over my pieces and you'll kind of see what I've socketed in. One all attributes is also really good to have on your rings and your necklace. And you can see we're 173 HP without our weapons out, and we're near PDR cap, 173 HP. And honestly, physical power and magical power don't really matter. You just kind of ignore these. Higher is obviously better, but you never specifically go for them. We're looking for HP, magic resist, armor, action speed, and then true damage. With a build like this, you will absolutely dominate in the arena. If you want to support this channel, consider subscribing and clicking the like button below. It allows you to stay up to date with all my helpful Dark and Darker videos, and it encourages me to make more. Thank you for your support. If you're interested in any other classes, you can click this video here.